Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Elite Family Chiropractic Podcast. This episode is the vagus nerve, the hidden switch for your child's brain, behavior, and health. Hi, friends. Dr. Scott Haggerty here, and I have a question for you. Why do some kids melt down under the slightest stress, while others can regroup and move on? Why do some children seem to live in a constant state of internal chaos, while others, same diagnosis, same challenges, begin to thrive when the right support is in place? What if the difference wasn't in their willpower or personality, but in a single nerve that governs everything from digestion to social bonding to brain development? Today, I want to introduce you to that nerve, the vagus nerve, and why it may be one of the most overlooked factors in your child's emotional regulation, learning ability, immune system, and yes, even their future mental health. Stick with me because we're going to go deeper than the basics, and you may never look at your child's challenges the same way again. So let's start here. What is the vagus nerve? Well, the vagus, Latin for wanderer, is the longest cranial nerve in the body. It starts in the brainstem here and meanders down through the neck into the chest and abdomen, touching almost every organ along the way, the heart, lungs, digestive system, liver, kidneys, and so on. But here's what's wild. 80% of the nerve fibers in the vagus don't send signals from the brain to the body. They go the other direction. They're bringing information from the body up to the brain. Why does that matter? Because it means your child's brain is constantly scanning the body for one simple thing: safety. And it's the vagus nerve that decides moment to moment whether your child's body is safe enough to learn, to relate, to play, or to grow. So let me ask you, what if your child's body isn't getting that safe signal? What happens then? This is where Dr. Stephen Porges' Polyvagal Theory comes in. And it's a concept that should literally be taught to every single parent. The vagus nerve has two very important branches. What's called the ventral vagal branch is the one we want online. It promotes social engagement, eye contact, emotional regulation, and connection. The dorsal branch, on the other hand, is your body's emergency brake. It slows everything down, shuts you down, and numbs you out. And then we have the sympathetic system. That's your classical fight or flight mode. Now, here's what most parents don't realize. Kids with low vagal tone, that is a weak or underactive vagus nerve, can get stuck oscillating between fight or flight and shutdown. Have you ever seen your child lash out in anger, then collapse into guilt, and then shut down completely? That's not drama. That's the nervous system trying and failing to find its footing. And if their brain is constantly receiving the message, you're not safe, then it doesn't matter how many behavior charts or timeouts you try, the biology is not at all supporting the behavior. So what's influencing that biology? Well, let's start with this. What impacts the vagal tone? So vagal tone, essentially the responsiveness to the vagus nerve is shaped by many things. Things like prenatal stress and birth trauma, early attachment experiences, chronic illness or inflammation, sensory overload, trauma, even poor spinal mechanics that impair neural signaling. And here's where it gets really interesting, especially for parents of kids with neurodevelopmental diagnoses like autism, ADHD, sensory processing disorder, or oppositional defiance disorder. Multiple studies have shown that children with autism have significantly reduced baseline vagal tone. One study even found that children with ASD have lower heart rate variability. That's the gold standard marker of vagus nerve health, and that reduction correlates with emotional dysregulation and poor social engagement. But the vagus nerve doesn't just govern behavior. It's also a key player in immune function, gut-brain communication, cognitive development, and even mood stability in adulthood. Which begs the question, why are we not testing and supporting this nerve in every child with developmental or behavioral challenges? So let me share something from our clinic's approach backed by research. In a pilot study published in the Internet Journal of Neurology, researchers used low-level laser therapy to stimulate the vagus nerve in healthy adults. What did they find? Stimulating the vagus with red light lasers significantly shifted the autonomic nervous system into parasympathetic dominance. In plain English, it calmed the body and activated healing. This was measured by heart rate variability, again, the gold standard for vagal tone, not subjective behavior, just data. In another study, researchers used transcranial infrared laser on the prefrontal cortex, here, and found improvements in sustained attention, memory recall, and mood, with effects lasting 2 weeks after a single session. Are you seeing a pattern? When we stimulate the vagus nerve, whether through light, breath, movement, or chiropractic adjustments, we're not just calming a symptom, we are rebalancing the operating system. So let me ask you, what if your child's frequent meltdowns aren't just poor behavior? What if their gut issues, poor sleep, or immune struggles aren't isolated events, but clues pointing to a nervous system that's out of balance? What if their brain wants to connect, to focus, to learn, but their body keeps whispering to them it's just not safe? And what if that safety cue could be restored, not without meds, not with labels, but with tools that retrain the nervous system itself? That's what we explore every week in our Substack newsletter and what we help families achieve every day in our clinic. So here's what I want you to do. If this conversation stirred something in you, if you're thinking, yes, this is my child, then something simple I want you to do. First, start getting more information, gather it. I want you to subscribe to our free Substack newsletter. Every week, we are unpacking the science between brain development, vagus nerve health, tools you can use at home, and emerging therapies that are changing lives like laser therapy, neural feedback, BrainTap, Apollo Neuro bracelets, chiropractic. And we do it in a way that respects your time and intelligence. No fluff, just clarity, compassion, and action steps. If you want to go to our website, the link is going to be in the notes so you can go through and check out the newsletter. We'd love your feedback, and we want to help with building content that serves you. There's no charge, no catch, just the information that you wish you had many years ago. Listen, I've been doing this for a decade and a half, and I've seen what happens when a child's nervous system finally feels safe enough to grow. When the body says, okay, now I can connect, now I can heal. It's not magic, it's just simply neurology. And the vagus nerve, well, it might just be the most powerful lever you've ever been told about. Guys, do me a favor, subscribe now, share this with a friend, tell somebody about this information. Help us to help other people, because ultimately it's about our kids. It's about helping our kids to live a better quality of life, helping them to overcome their struggles. This lever is one of the most important levers that you can ever pull to help our kids live their absolute best life so we can help them to live great now and great later. All right, guys, I'll see you inside the newsletter. Stay curious, stay hopeful. God bless each and every one of you. This is Dr. Scott. I'm out.